time, speed, distance road rally. The road rally is conducted in accordance with the rules, and the object, as I mentioned, is to stay on course and as close to on time as possible. Now comes the challenge of figuring out which way to go. You've got these route instructions. You've got this knowledge about where the main road is. So how do you decide which way to go? Can I do this instruction here? So the question you ask yourself when you are looking for the next route instruction and you're out there in the real world in the land of main roads, is this the reference for this route instruction? Well, first of all, do we need an intersection in order to do this route instruction? If it's a deviation you do, if it says R or L or turn, you need it to be an intersection. And then if you've decided that, yes, this is the right reference, I've got the signs that I need or the landmarks that I need, they exist here, and this is an intersection, I can actually perform this here, then the next thing you have to ask yourself is, does this instruction direct you off the main road? If it's a deviation, you're trying to do an L or an R or a turn, then you have to decide, can I do this deviation and be off the main road? If it follows the main road, then you have to follow, remember the order of priorities, you have to follow the main road and continue looking for an opportunity to do that route instruction. Okay, so those are the questions you're going to ask yourself. An action point is the location where you can execute a route instruction. And it can be an intersection where the instruction directs you off the main road. We just talked about that. That would require a deviation. It could be an intersection where the route instruction with official mileage directs you to follow the main road. And then the third point is the indicated point, distance, or duration where no change of direction is specified. Now that's, for example, if it's that wait 1 mile, watch for something for 1 mile, then you go on to do something else. That can be an example of a distance or a duration. And then let's look at 4.3, which is reference points. And we kind of looked at this earlier, talking about a reference point either has official mileage, it has a sign, or it's defined in the glossary. So that's a reference point of a route instruction. And that reference point has to be greater mileage than the reference point marking the ending of the previous route instruction. Like a note, for example. You're looking for a note, and it occurs, you have the same reference as a route instruction. Say both of them say, pause at Jones Street, or the note says pause at Jones Street, and you're looking for right at Jones Street. The note would come first, you'd have to do the pause and then continue looking for an opportunity to go right on Jones Street. That would be an example of that. They would have to be at a different mileage. Right, it has to be at a point greater than the previous point. Here we have an instruction, a numbered route instruction that says to pause a half a minute. We should note these are in hundredths, right? So if you see 0.50, that's a half a minute. We're doing all time in hundreds of minutes. So pause a half a minute at stop. Well, it's all caps, but it's not in quotes. It's a word that's defined in the glossary. It's defined as an intersection with an official highway stop sign at which the contestant is legally required to stop. Well, are you legally required to stop here? Yes. Yes. Is it an intersection? No. An intersection was a joining of rally roads. And a rally road is a road that you have an opportunity to legally travel on. And there's no rally road here other than the one you're on. So there is no intersection here. So can you pause at stop at this particular location? No. You may see stop signs, but what you're going to do in the rally is you're going to say, okay, well, we have to keep going. Right. The clarification was if you change the route instruction so that stop was in quotes, then you'd be looking for a sign containing the word stop, and then you would be able to pause here and you'd be able to execute the instruction here. Okay, now in this case, we're coming up from the bottom. We're at a T. Where does the main road go, first of all? Before we even talk about what the route instruction is, let's decide where's the main road. Main road goes left by leftmost, right? So we could execute a deviation right. We could do that. So next thing is it the right reference? We're looking for a sign that says Main Street. Are we there? Why not? It's not spelled right. So what are we going to do when we get to this instruction? We're going to go leftmost, continue following the main road until we find the exact situation that this route instruction can be used. Okay. How about this one? Where does the main road go? By leftmost, right? The instruction we're looking for is left at stop. Stop is a defined term. It's an intersection at which you must legally stop. Are we at a stop? Yes. Can we execute a deviation from the main road by going left here? No, because the main road goes left here. So can we use this instruction here? No. Deviation is a change in course off the main road. So you've got an instruction, you come up to an intersection, you've got to decide, are all the references here that you need? And in this case, you're looking for a stop, that's a defined term, and yes, you are at a stop. Yes, it is an intersection, it is a defined stop. But where does the main road go? The main road goes left.
So it's not.
And you can't execute a deviation unless it takes you off the main road. Okay, how about this one? The route instruction is turn first stop. Let's take a look at what turn means. It is a deviation from the main road in the only direction possible. A turn instruction cannot be executed if the instruction to go straight, either an S or a straight, would take you the same way. So you can't turn by going straight. That seems kind of logical, doesn't it? An op, 6.17, is an opportunity, a possible deviation in the direction indicated that is paved or named or numbered as indicated by signs at the intersection. So an op, in order to be an opportunity, a road either has to be paved, well, it has to be a rally route, right, first of all. It has to be paved, or it has to be named or numbered. So a gravel road could be an op if it had a sign identifying the name of the road. That's really all that it means by op, is that that's an opportunity. So first question is, do we have an op? Well, if an op is a deviation, and a deviation can only happen at an intersection, do we even have an intersection here?
No.
No, there's no, because the road straight ahead's not a road. That road, you know, just take it out of your mind. It's not even there. It's marked dead end. Okay. So we're going to just follow the road, and we're still looking for turn first off in this case. Oh, here we go. This gets a little bit more fun. Right second off, right first off. Oh, the numbers aren't in order.
Nice.
So, what's the first thing we're looking to do here? Right first op, followed by right second op. Right, so there's really two learning things here. And one is that the first thing you do when you get your route instructions, read through the route instruction numbers, make sure they are presented in numerical order, because they might not be, like this example is. And the second learning point is that here where we have a first op and then a second op, you have to, each route instruction, you complete that entire route instruction, and then you start the next route instruction, and you start counting over again, because you completed that previous one. So it takes 3 ops to complete both of these route instructions. There's 1 in number 10, and there's 2 in number 11. Okay, so we're coming in from the bottom. Turn first op. All right, so I see, yeah, there's plenty of ops here. We could go straight, we could go left, we can go right. Those are all ops. And then turn, we know we can't go straight, but where does the main road go?
To the right.
Main road goes to the right by protection. So if we were going to turn, the main road goes to the right. Can we turn in only one direction here?
Yeah.
Which direction would that be? Left. Inside your back cover of your book, there are time, speed, distance formulas. We've already talked about the odometer calibration at the beginning of the event, and that's an opportunity for you to compare your odo in your car to the official odo that the course was measured with. And there are formulas here to help you figure out whether you should be driving slower or faster. But the general rule is that if you have less miles on your auto than official miles, you should drive a little slower than what it says in order to stay on time. But if your auto, it says it should be 10 miles long and you've got 11 miles by the time you get to the end of it, then you must drive faster, right? Like 10% faster, actually, in order to stay exactly on time. There are some formulas about time, speed, distance, timekeeping. As I mentioned, I don't think these are things that you should be at all concerned with until you're able to stay on course pretty reliably. But you do need to be, one way to help you stay on time is to pay particular attention to official mileage. When official mileage is given in the route instructions, that's a good clue for you, not so much about time, but about where, making sure you're in the right place. And if your mileage is way, way off, like magnitudes on, then you might not be on course, and you may want to go back and figure out, what you did wrong and backtrack. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, staying on course as well. Let's see. We've talked about average speed. CAS tells you what your average speed should be and what pauses are given. And again, if you think that you're going to be trying to stay on time, my suggestion would be that you run a little bit higher than what the stated CAST is. They should be giving you CAST lower than the legal speed limit. So if they tell you to go 43, probably you're in a 45, you want to maybe try to go 45. Go a couple miles an hour higher than to drive a little faster, maybe 10%, to try to stay on time. So watch your speed closely, try to stay close to what they're giving you. The recommendation is to drive 10% over CAST. The most important thing you can do to stay on time is stay on course. When you come to the first control and they tell you what the official time should have been for that leg, they're only going to give you a minute or two to get set up and get ready for the next leg. But if you have time to figure out how long it took you, and on your scorecard, you'll take the start time and the end time and calculate how long it took you to run that leg. The piece of paper they're going to give you will tell you what the official time was. So you write those in on your scorecard. You can calculate what your difference was. Were you early? Were you late? And by how much? That helps you then to decide, okay, boy, I was running too slow that last leg. I need to go faster. Or I came in early, way early. We got to slow down a little bit in order to get on time. So that feedback about how did you do on the previous leg, you can use that feedback to adjust for the next leg that's coming up and adjust what you're doing. Practice. What practice? I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, you folks who've been rallying for a while, that's what makes the difference. So the rule says, execute an IDIS instruction only if you encounter its action point before you come to the action point of the next, by number, NRI. Otherwise, skip the NRI. You're looking for left at stop NBCU. You're at a T, and the main road at this particular intersection goes left, by leftmost. The main road is left. You're looking for left at stop NBCU. Yes, you can do that route instruction there, because NBCU says this deviation is redundant with the main road. This route instruction may take you in the same direction as the main road. So that's what NBCU means. And then defined terms. We've talked about defined terms throughout, but many traps are associated with the definition of the term. So for example, the word turn, we talked about this one earlier, being a deviation in the only direction possible. Well, if it's the only direction possible, why didn't you just say left or right? Well, there's probably a trap there. We'd probably use the word turn because that sets up an opportunity for some folks to go one way, some folks to go the other way. One way is the intended on-course route. The other way is the intended off-course route. The off-course route will take a different amount of time. So if you go that way, you're going to have penalty points based on time, right? It'll all resolve. It'll come back together because Rally Master made it that way. The last thing Rally Masters want, by the way, their job is not just to tick you off. and send you off the edge of the world. Our job is to get everybody to the end of the event, hopefully having a good time. Not necessarily that you did everything exactly right? Because we're going to try to trick you sometimes to go a way other than the on-course route. So we might use words like turn or side road. Let's take a look at what side road means. A side road is an intersection at which the contestant can turn in only one direction. Do you remember that intersection that we saw? It's a four-way intersection. Instruction is turn and stop. Which way are you going to go? You're going to go left. Because right is the main right. Well, we might say turn that way. We might say use the instruction turn there. Or we might even say turn at side road. Well, there's only one way you can turn at that intersection, and that would be left, because the main road goes right. Let's talk a bit about what to do with this thing. We do encourage everyone to complete their scorecard. Here, your car number will be on here. Your car number tells you more than just what number you're putting in your window. It also tells you what time your out time is. So your start time, 7:14 for this particular car, because they are car 14. They come in to the checkpoint. They hand their scorecard to the checkpoint worker. They write in what time you finished that leg. In this case, you finished at 8:02.67. Remember, everything's in hundredths, not seconds. And they're telling you you're going to start the next leg at 8:05. Like if you started at 7:14 and you ended at 8:02.67, it took you 48.67 minutes. On that supplemental piece of paper they gave you, they told you what the official time was. Well, it should have taken you 46.35. The difference between that is 2.32 minutes, 100 points per minute, so your score for that leg was 232. That's how you calculate your scorecard. So the pieces that are written in, the end time and the start time, those are written in by the rally officials in the control car. And then you're going to calculate your own elapsed time. You'll copy in the official time from the supplemental slip they gave you. And then you'll calculate the difference between official time and your time. And that is your penalty points. If that number, that time difference, is greater than 3 minutes, then your score is 300. The maximum score for any one leg is 300. If you were to encounter route controls along the way, and route controls look just like a checkpoint, except that the sign has a clock symbol on it, or an RC. Which is it? Oh, okay, so it's an RC for route control. You'll pull up to them, but instead of them timing you, they're going to either give you points or not give you points. If it's an on-course route control, you're supposed to be there, and you get 0 points for coming there. If you didn't go there, you get 50 points. If it's an off-course route control and you go there, they give you 50 points, and if you didn't go there, you get 0 points. If you see a route control, don't drive by and not stop, because you don't know whether they're on or off. Right? So always stop at a route control. So in this case, the route control must have been an off-course route control, because the crew wrote in 50 points for that. Come to the end. Turn in your scorecard. Even if you didn't complete the course, even if you didn't find all the checkpoints, come to the end and turn in your scorecard. A couple of reasons. One, don't go away mad. Don't give up on rally after only one try. Try it again. The more practice you get, the better you get at figuring out how to play this game, the more fun it is. And granted, anytime you play a game for the first time and you're just learning the rules, you might not do so good, it might not be so much fun the first time, but don't give up. Try it again. Try it again. Come to the end. Ask questions. The other reason why we ask you to turn in your scorecard is even if you come to the end but you don't turn in your scorecard, you get scored as a DNF, did not finish. If you didn't find any checkpoints at all, but you come to the end and turn in your scorecard, you finished. You got the maximum amount of points, but you finished. That is counted as a finish. So we encourage you, please come to the end. Please turn in your scorecard. Don't go away mad. If you're out on the course and you're not sure where you are, call the rally master. Ask questions. The rally master knows that area. If you can say with any certainty where you think you are, they can talk you to the next control or back onto course. If it's so late that the course is getting ready to close down, the controls are closing up, they'll tell you how to come to the end, how to find the ending location. And they'll be able to tell you whether or not you have enough time to finish running the course and still get there in amount of time. So do call the rally master, do come to the end, ask questions, you'll do better next time. What questions do you have? Come in the route instructions like we have today, there are 2 do-it-yourself controls, one at 18, NRI 18, and the last one is at NRI 32. I will tell you there are 2 manned controls today and 2 DIYCs today. So checkpoint 1 will be a manned control. Checkpoint 2 is the DIYC at number 18. There'll be another manned control in between. And then the last checkpoint is at 32, that DIYC. So there are 4 legs in today's event. When you come to the reference DIYC, well, let's look at the rule, because that is a defined term. So 6.09, you stop at that reference. Get off the road, obviously. Pull off the road at that reference and record the exact arrival time to the 100th of a minute that you arrived there. In the back of your book, inside the back cover, there is a conversion table for seconds to hundredths. So what I recommend is on your route instructions, write down the minutes and seconds that you got there. It was 8:02:30. Write that down on your route instructions. But what you put on your slip, you look up in here and you say 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So that's 0.50 of a minute. So then you're going to write, the hundredths is what you write on your scorecard. That's what you write as your end leg time, your end leg time. Then for the start leg time for the next leg, you're going to write in exactly 2 minutes later, including the hundredths. So if you got there at 8:02:50, you're going to leave, your out time for the next leg is 8:04. Okay, so you sit there for your 2 minutes, you wait till your out time comes up, and then you continue on. But you will be writing that on your scorecard yourselves. So you're timing yourself. This is a do-it-yourself checkpoint. And a lot of times we'll use do-it-yourself checkpoints because we may not have enough workers for that event, or sometimes there's just not a good location to put a control crew. But generally, you'll not have DIYs in succession without a manned control in between, because we like to give you some feedback about how you're doing on time.